My kiddos are around. And hey, welcome to Under the Tree. This is your local comedian and friend, Ian Bryce. Welcome back. I know you all aren't probably expecting this, but you are getting an episode this week, even though I'm on vacation. I mean, I that means I could be a bad family man, but damn, I'm a good podcaster, right? That's priorities here. So you might hear some noise in the background, some screaming, some "Daddy, help me." Don't worry about that. That's that's not your problem. Just continue to listen and digest that information for us. We appreciate it. So I do have a special guest here. Listen. Who said public shaming didn't work? They were wrong because I have a special guest here. It's our third partner, the last one of the old crew, Wham City. Say hi, Wham.
Hello. What do you
Hey,
mean,
so
former
uh,
partner?
yeah, you were part of the trios, me, Zlo, and you. Yeah, you remember
Oh,
the good old days.
I guess I associate the word partner with two people.
Wow,
Just you and Shelly.
linguistics. Yeah. Yeah, just me and Shelly against the world, baby. You know that's been welcome.
Thank
Very
you.
happy to have you. What brought you on? Actually, I did say shaming, but please tell me what was
Yeah, honestly, just mostly that.
it?
I was like, I'm being very supportive from afar. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm also listening. It's a podcast. That's all I can really do. But I don't know. I will be very transparent in the fact that I don't believe I have a lot to offer, unfortunately, as a podcaster or a woman. But
Oh
here,
yeah, I think you said there was something similar in your marriage proposals. I think your vows. I heard you
oh,
say. Yeah.
out me as a divorcee.
Thank you.
Oh, I literally heard a child yell for help.
Listen, I said that was gonna happen.
You did, you did.
You also, the message was also to you. Keep going.
This is
Keep
like
going.
gonna become a true crime podcast within a true crime podcast.
Could
Very
happen
meta.
that way. Okay, so as you were saying,
Oh, about why I'm here.
yes, you don't feel like you have a lot to offer, but
But I do love the sound of my own voice.
yes, we're millennials. We love that. Smelling our own farts,
What do
listening
you
to
mean?
our.
That's basically a phone call, and we hate those. So
Yeah, I mean, I started like falling asleep to my own episodes, and I was like,
no,
is this
you
what happens? Is
no.
that narcissistic gene turning
I
on
don't
that I
even
got
know
in
what that
there?
is.
Yeah.
Psychosis, I think.
Am I in the phone or is the phone in me? Yeah, I know.
Well, you know what? I'll save that for the After Dark episode. The
Ah,
con.
yes, right.
Yeah.
The 10 p.m. version, right. So I want to start with, I guess first you and just you and Shelly on this world. What did you know Shelly? How did you like before pre-death, pre-murder? What did you know about Shelly? How close were you?
Not close at all. I would say I was not a participator in high school. I slept through most of it. I
Uh-huh.
think the only people I really talk to are you and Zlo,
Uh-huh.
which remains the same. So I definitely knew her visually, and she was like one of the girls that walked when we had to run the mile, which same.
Oh
But
yes, I know those girls. I saw you guys were cousins to my team of fat kids who forgot their clothes.
I used to
And
forget
dress
too. The
up.
worst so many times, but yeah, I
Yes,
definitely
yes.
knew
Mhm.
her to see her, if that makes sense, and I knew some people that were friends with her loosely. I couldn't even tell you if I've ever had a conversation with her. It's possible I
Mhm.
did. It's possible I didn't. And I don't even think I
Yeah.
realized she was murdered or deceased For a while.
Keep going. That leads me into our next point. So
Well, yeah.
when's the first glimpse that you knew that she got, murdered? All that happened.
Honestly, I think you told me.
Okay.
We were like, "Hey, how's it going? How are things in your new place of residence?" Shellie Carson did get murdered,
Okay.
but I think even then, correct me if I'm wrong, I wasn't even certain who she was.
I don't remember telling you, but I do remember Shellie Night at the local Burger King.
Who could forget?
That's in my brain, forever. Do you want to paint the picture of how Shellie Night looked? How that went down? Wait, what'd you say?
We're talking about Burger King, yeah, Shellie Night.
Yeah. So back to Shellie Night. I threw it to you. Do you want to paint the picture? I guess for the listener, from the boulevard to the experience of being in part of Shellie Night.
You're from the window to the wall. Gotcha.
Because we went into that Burger King. I don't know if you remember that. We did.
Yes,
go
I
in
do
into
recall that vividly, and I remember
Yes.
eating chicken fries,
Mhm.
which I'm eating every time I have to go to a Burger King. I think the thing that I remember most, honestly, is that there was the sign out front that's usually like Whoppers 2 for 1, or it was like Shellie Carson night, and we were like, what does that mean?
Right, it was no other context, just Shellie Night.
Pretty much. And as humans about town, we were like, well, we have to go see what's going on, and we went. And it was very odd because the inside of the Burger King looked just like the inside of any Burger King that you might go to right now. There was no advertising, labeling, signage. There was nothing to indicate that I recall that it was a special event at the Burger King. And also, there were not a lot of people there, which is also...
Oh, it was almost empty. Right,
yeah.
completely empty.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe one other person in there? Yeah, exactly. One other person.
It was
there.
like a Fazoli's. Deserted.
Yeah.
Nobody coming in here. Which is, I guess now, with some space between me and Shellie Night, I'm like, who organized that? Truthfully.
Right, because where did the money go? Like, was there it wasn't clear. Like, was there a percentage of the money that went to the thing? Was the manager just like, I need some gas money. This will work out well for me. Shellie Night, bam.
I gave the money to the cashier like anyone else. You know what I mean? They weren't like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your donation.
Yeah.
And then also, if we were like the only people there, the organizer of it should have been there.
Right. One would think. But do you remember who our cashier was?
Was it? Well, I can't use names.
You can say a name, but you can go ahead give him a nickname. Give him a superhero nickname. Give him a...
I don't do superheroes. It was Barnacle Boy. I can't think of a superhero.
Barnacle Boy.
He was a guy, yeah?
All right, no. This was let's call this person Velma.
Wait. Yeah. Okay. No,
you remember
you said
Velma.
you started using gendered terms.
I'm sorry.
How do we go from superheroes to Velma?
I'm just, I don't know a superhero that would fit that person's criteria.
I know, I'm really thinking right now. I know who you're talking about, though.
So that was that was someone I found out later that was very, very, very close to Shellie as a coworker.
I did not know that.
Extremely close to Shellie. I reached out to her about 6 years ago to start talking to her. When I started this podcast, I was trying to talk to her first. And she dodged. She said, "This is too painful for me. I can't speak about her."
Do you know she dated a friend of mine?
Yes,
Much
I
later.
did. Yes, I did know that because I also
Yes.
saw her at another retail establishment not too far from that location, a few like years after that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So she
Oh,
pops
I
up
think
here
I
and
know
there.
what you're talking about. Did it
Okay,
involve a sport? Kind
sport.
of. Yes, I remember who the cashier was.
It was a gas station. Okay, let's
Right.
just yeah, it was a gas station, and this is a person I'm still trying to get information from. I've been more sly about it, like I just sent him a link to the podcast, no context, right?
Okay.
Saw was read, no response. So I'm gonna, slowly.
You can tell when things are. Oh, you sent like a DM?
Yeah, like a DM on Facebook
Okay.
Messenger. You can see like when they look at it. So I know that they've seen it. Have not, said like, hey, like formally again, because, I'm sensitive. I'm a Cancer. I'm a rejection. Don't say no to me. Like, how many years until you say yes?
Well,
Damn.
also, how much information do you think Velma has?
I think to me, don't you think it's sus that it's like it's too painful to speak? Like, how much could you tell me then? You know what I mean? I think
I
yeah.
mean, can
Take
I be
stress out
honest with
alone.
you?
Yeah.
I feel like that sounds like an excuse. Like, just like, oh, I don't feel like it.
Okay, so this brings me up. This brings me up to my current stance of
Sorry,
I've been
Velma.
asked.
No offense.
I've I know, I know. Well, hey, like in the comments, decide, is Velma just bullshit or does she really care? Did she really give a fuck?
Is she a fake ass friend or a
Yeah.
dumb ass bitch? Um,
Right, like I actually interviewed her. She's like, I don't know. She liked Twix. Like that's all you got,
yeah.
Okay,
But also, it's been what 19 years.
yeah, 19
You think
years.
she's gonna remember details pertinent?
Okay, okay. All right, so listen up to this. All right, so listeners know, I'm trying to try to see what all of Shelley's image was about before, the after, everything. So I'm asking a lot of people that knew her. They lead me to another person, but most of them say, let me think about it. When I say, do you want to, can you tell me about her? Can you want to be on the podcast? Let me think about it. So a lot of people have said. So what do you think that means? Is that a bullshit too, or you think that's more of an honest response?
When I say that, it's usually an excuse or
It's like a mom. We'll see. It's like,
although
bitch,
I
you
think
know
that's
it's
weird.
no.
Just say no
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
nothing. Nothing
Yeah.
is an answer in and of itself. No response
Well,
is a response.
yes, I
Yeah, I
agree.
mean, I wouldn't bank on any of those people coming back unprompted a week later and saying, you know what, I did think
I
about
thought about it. I discussed it with my therapist and my
yeah,
spouse.
pros and cons
I don't
list.
know. I will be following up. I have the time.
Yeah, I
So I'm
mean,
on a sales job here of, hey, 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 hey. Did
I'm
you
sure
make
all
a
those
decision
people
yet?
were interviewed at the time also.
No, no. I'd say maybe one. Maybe one. Other ones were just regular,
Velma?
schmegular. I don't even know if she was at all. I mean, she didn't. She never disclosed that. But
Okay. So are we just straight up being under the pretense of the police did not do a good job here?
yeah, we're gonna have a whole episode on
Close
that. I'm
caller.
sure. I'm
Okay.
sure. Sure. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we don't know what We said the hundreds were interviewed
Oh,
all
I didn't
together.
even.
We don't know which hundreds. Uh,
Okay. It could be
yeah,
any.
we don't. Could be the person right now behind you pumping your gas. You don't know which one. Unless they want to disclose that, they can just say that. Yeah, they talked to me. So hopefully I can get a few of them on. That would be helpful.
Right.
But I forgot my other point here because I did talk to a new person today.
Okay.
That was pretty close to them.
Okay.
I think I'd say one of her quote partners, as the media likes to call one of her established confirmed partners. And like you said about like, oh, who could remember how long ago? I was just trying to say like, hey, what was Shelly's favorite food? What was her like,
Chicken
favorite
fries.
band, right? Anything, right?
Right.
They were like, say like you said, like, I don't know, it's so long ago. And just like I feel like everyone I've been with, I could tell you one thing that they liked or one thing I associate. You know what I mean?
What's mine?
Death Cab for Cutie.
Ew,
There
that's the one
you
I
go.
get? That's it?
Okay, chicken fries. All right.
No. Let's see, you have to name the title of the episode.
Tramadol addictions.
Shut up.
We had a good. I'm a peer specialist. Okay, come on, we had a good time. Right? Don't.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Was
Watch
long
the
time ago.
police suddenly want to do their job now.
Right?
You can edit that out.
Yes, I can. We'll see if I have to. Right, I can.
Come and get me. I'm very far away.
Hey, we don't know how we go. Okay, never mind.
Okay. So what's your thing for Shelly?
It's Shelly night. It was that
Okay.
weird Burger
Chicken
King moment of like, yeah, exactly. Like, all right, let's go here, Shelly night. Maybe we'll see some people. I was thinking like, because this was after we just graduated.
I don't remember.
Just graduated high school. It was like maybe 6 months, I'd say, after we graduated.
After the crime.
The crime. So that summertime. That summer of death. Yeah, it was 6 months after that. So I'm thinking maybe we're gonna see like, some old classmates in
I
there,
remember that.
and just like, hey, you could nobody.
Nobody.
Like one person by the window could have been the killer. Who knows?
They gazing pensively out into the rain. Might be them.
Yeah, exactly. Eating a Hershey pie with just their tongue.
Don't get me started on a Hershey pie.
Don't get me started. I'm hungry. I missed dinner for this. Dinner with my
family.
family.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. So yeah, that's that is that for Shelly night, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't have a ton of.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, wait. Okay, so now I just remembered. Sorry, ADD. I know this is a podcast about mental health as well.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Okay. That wasn't implied. Okay, if you don't catch that this is also about mental health issues, then you have some.
Yeah,
welcome. You're in the right place. Okay, so how did we and me, you, and Zlo start on the investigation part of, let's actually maybe turn this into a real, real dog and pony show. Let's really get stuff.
Not the dog and pony.
Yeah.
You can correct me if I'm wrong too, because my memory is not always the best. I used to smoke a lot of drugs, but I believe, I mean, you always had a mild fascination with it, right? Or else we wouldn't have been at Shelly night.
Yeah. In
the way of all people having an interest in just true crime generally, and then one that is very close to home, of course. That was like my level of interest, I would say, which that could be a podcast in and of itself, just like that. The ethics and morality of true crime. But I believe we used to periodically check the blog, quote unquote.
Yes, the justiceforshelly.com.
Yeah, and you and Zlo would stay up late and talk about murder anyway. Not just this murder. Like John Ray Ramsey. I remember you were
that was a good one, right?
Yeah. And so I feel like you were still the driver of the interest. And I can't remember specifically what reignited your passion, shall I say. I can't remember. I know we had a Discord.
Yeah. I still use it for some stuff, so it's great. You did a good job.
Remembering Discord?
Yeah, we put a lot of information there. Yeah, so I'm still alive.
Okay, well, see, this is the tricky thing too about, I would imagine, being a comedian and trying to do a true crime podcast is like a delicate line.
Well, that's why I often remind the audience, hey, don't forget, I use humor as a whatever.
As a whatever.
As a coping mechanism, my therapist says, and a deflector for pain. So, sorry. I mean, or not. You're welcome. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought it'd be worse, honestly. I thought people would be more mad at me, but it's going well.
Well,
I mean,
if you get a larger audience, they may become mad at you.
we'll see. Well, because there's also some haters just to hate, right? Like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but
our OG
you have
Shellie
haters,
squad.
right?
Not yet. Not for
No.
this. I mean, for stand up, yes, but not for this. Not for this. No. Shellie squad is going hard right now. These are the days I think I'm going to remember the most. Right? This is.
That's unfortunate.
Isn't it? Isn't it? I can't wait for the misery. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
You're gonna be like, oh, that summer when I was 37.
Yeah, exactly. Right. When I'm on season 12 and some random person, my manager is saying, yeah, hey, detective, depressed detective.
What are you going to talk about for 12 seasons? I don't know.
No, we're going to be another murder by then. We're going to be another murder by then.
Well, you can't name the podcast Under the Tree. You're exclusively talking about murders that happen under like trees. Crime scenes that involve trees only, please. Okay. Anyway. ADHD. You only have 24 minutes before you have to go be a dad.
Oh, no, I'm good for the night. When mama knows daddy's on the mic, could go hard. So.
Gross.
Which
just
part?
Mama and daddy.
Daddy? Oh, okay. I was gonna say. I get that. That's understandable.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, we started the Discord and everything. That was going well, and then me and Zlo talk about why we stopped. Do you remember like what your end was? Like, why didn't you keep pushing it? Why didn't you say, "Hey, you bastards, check on Clark Kent"?
I think immediately I viewed Clark Kent as sort of a dead end.
Yeah.
He was not a reliable, even narrator of his own blog. I could just tell also for somebody who's been, sorry, Clark Kent, if he doesn't know what a podcast is, so hopefully he's not listening to this, but I feel like if he would have had actual information that was valuable, the Justice for Shellie movement would have progressed at some point, which it really didn't.
Yeah.
Just a crazy dude posting on a blog for I don't even know how many years.
From like
too many.
Like
too many years for a person who didn't know her. And I think I felt maybe a little hopeful when you and Zlo went to Clark's house. And then there came a point where I think we all realized like he isn't going to cooperate.
Yeah.
And I remember I told you he's the keeper of all of the information because Shelley's dad gave him all the stuff. And I'll be honest with you, I still don't know that we have enough information to do anything credible or valuable. That's like my concern. Like I'm the interviewer now. What do you hope to get out of it?
I think, just like I said, to keep the name alive, bring awareness, that Lacey Peterson stuff is trending right now. Have you seen that on Netflix?
Yeah, of course.
Because they're at their 20 years, right? What's the difference though? What are the differences though? I mean, because Lacey Peterson's her reward is $500,000. Is that a big difference, or that she's pregnant and Shellie had a lot of partners? There was evidence. We're both white women dead. I mean, geez.
There was evidence for one, which I think that's the biggest thing is that we just don't have concrete evidence. We don't have access to documents. I mean, as a purveyor of true crime, to me, the people who are successful in solving things, which is honestly not most people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why everybody went so hard for the Jinx, because they caught him and it was
Ah,
remarkable.
yeah.
But even so, the people who are being like substantive podcasts are the ones who are literally knocking on people's doors,
Uh-huh.
which don't do that.
Oh, I mean, I'm not above that. I
I
mean,
know, that's why I said don't do that. I think too the people that are involved in it don't want to talk, haven't talked, and I just I'm trying to think of how to say this. The people that were closest to this, or the people that most people believe to be suspects, would not be afraid to get like lawyers.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, as they should, but
right, yeah.
I'm looking for the other ones, the ones that knew her in the before times, or, actually, or maybe they're people do a change. People do want to free their souls sometimes, or
Well,
turn
good.
on people. So I mean, petty labels out there. I'm one of them.
No, penny mayonnaise.
Yeah, exactly. So that happens too.
I guess I'm just like, how many episodes can you do? Just like it's bringing awareness, right?
Uh-huh.
Aren't we already? Oh, sorry. I was gonna say 3 episodes. Famously, 2 pre-episodes in an episode.
Yes, that's the brand, right,
Right. How
right.
what does success look like for you? I told you I'm interviewing you now for this pod.
Success is just if people keep listening. That's really it. People are still interested enough to pay attention, right? I mean, her parents are dead. Most of the people that seem to care about her aren't showing that or show interest. That's why the rewards dropped from $40,000 to 1,000. That shows money talks, right? Um,
Yeah, but
so
the money wasn't impactful. It didn't.
yeah, wasn't enough anyway. So fuck it, take it away, right?
I
So
mean,
let me get that boat.
I just think that the information isn't there because people don't want it to be there,
Yeah.
and we just don't. We don't have enough of an entree. We're working with not even an appetizer, like a cold cut tray.
Yeah, that's like been picked over. I mean,
Yeah, maybe a couple like or almonds. That's all.
oh,
Anyway, I was gonna say olives. I don't know. So I guess here, what's your in terms of you wanting to start a podcast? Why this particular subject? Why Shellie?
because that is a neighborhood. I live in my childhood home now, right? Killer, you hear that? I'm waiting for you. And still in that neighborhood. I mean, still that same. My kids will go to that same high school when they grow up. If I'm not, but doing whatever by then, moved, whatever, and it's just disturbing. I'd say that we're still that someone can still kill a woman. Right? I'm going to say woman, right? Kill a woman and just keep going. You know what I mean? Is that not disturbing enough that someone could be murdered and just get away with it in this time and age? Even then, 2005 time and age. I mean, we're talking the old west
Oh
here.
yeah.
You know what I mean? There's iPods out here. Okay. I mean, there's digital files, there's cameras.
I mean, I'm
Um,
sure we lost a great deal of evidence to the death of AIM
yeah,
in
right. And
MySpace.
Live Journal and
Yeah,
MySpace. Yeah,
Shelley didn't
yeah.
have a live journal. It's funny that you should, I guess, mention the nature of the crime, or isn't it scary that there's a person that did that that's still out there? Because that raises the question of, motive. Is this a
Mhm.
stranger? Is it a person? I don't think it was a stranger. Seemed like
Right.
very personal, crime of
Crime
passion,
of passion.
wounds to
Right.
the head, like the faces, a thing that only people have intimate knowledge of you will sort of go for.
Uh-huh.
So oftentimes crimes of passion, those people don't ever kill again.
Uh-huh.
Not that I'm saying like it's fine, because it's not. Uh,
Girl, come on, we all
but
get
I think that
angry,
the
yeah.
reason why I mention it is because I think that could have been a contributor to that person never being caught. They may not even
Oh,
have a history of violence, even.
right, they're like suit and tie, clean cut now, right? Like I gotta.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Even then, I would imagine they were likely a pretty clean cut person
Uh-huh.
who maybe did drugs. I'm just gonna throw that out
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine, 'cause peer specialists work with a lot of people addicted to things. I imagine, though, that their substance abuse would be rampant because PTSD. I mean, those thoughts are in there, those memories will come out in another way. So I couldn't imagine somebody not self medicating that did a crime like that. You know what I mean? In some way.
there. I mean, there's people are sociopaths.
Yeah,
That does it.
true, true,
It's more
true.
rare, I think, than people believe it to be. So I don't even
Yeah.
think that's the case. But
Right.
I think I'm not afraid to be controversial. Okay. I side with
Go ahead,
Amber
girl.
Heard, so I'm one of those
Hmm.
people.
Hmm.
I think something that is not often spoken, well, I mean, this crime isn't spoken about, and I believe, honestly, Shelley's not a perfect victim.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
She's not a Lacey Peterson. She's doesn't. I mean, her reputation, which again, I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead.
Hey,
I'm just saying
right,
this
right.
has to be spoken about if we're really going to be honest about it. We started this off by my admitting to you I barely knew Shelley, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But my impression of Shelley and Shelley's reputation, they weren't squeaky clean. And I think, unfortunately, people write people like that off all the time.
yeah,
Look at how many like sex workers are murdered all the time.
yeah. Exactly.
She's
And
not
like
a
I said,
pregnant, married, college graduate with a big white
right, a teacher with a bunch of white girlfriends. Like,
right.
yeah, she threw the best parties. Yeah, wasn't that?
No. And honestly, I might hazard a guess based off of Shelley Night, which was not that long after the actual murder, for there to not be that many people there. I don't think Shelley had a lot of people very close to her. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And now
Mm-hmm.
that her family is largely gone, I mean, I guess that's just you.
Right, right. I've taken on Clark Kent's powers to keep this going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I like we said in the last episode, her reputation preceded her allegedly, and her dad didn't really do her any favors by saying, she had a lot of partners and friends she played with. And I was telling people, I was telling someone the other day, like, okay, so what I've learned from this, if my kid does something, then he was golden. You know what I mean? He would never do this. He was the best kid ever, because if they're gonna use one
Oh,
thing, you
hell
know what I
yeah.
mean? To
That's
go against, like, oh well,
that's
shit,
a
I mean,
common
had
trope.
sex at 16, like, God, I mean, who knows what could happen to him? He was smoking weed at 14. I mean, you know what I mean? So
Well,
there's your tip, guys. Your kid is golden if they go missing or accused of something. All right, they're
I
perfect.
think also when people, it reminds me of George Floyd. Do you
Yeah.
remember when those people were like, well, he was arrested for smoking crack?
Right.
And
Yes.
everyone was
Yep.
like, shut the hell up. That has nothing to do with
The exactly.
right. And I think I'm trying to think of how to like word this. I don't think that you're gonna have to cut out a lot of this pausing, man. um, I guess I think it's important to be honest about how people felt about her or perceived her, even if it's not how she really was. I'm not
I
close enough
agree.
to say how she was or wasn't. But it is impactful and it is a determining factor in terms of where people's resources go. Young white girl, but she was a white girl that had a tongue ring and an eyebrow ring and wore trip pants before they were 100% cool, and she was like a bleacher kid. I don't know another way to say that.
Bleacher kid. I mean, someone did describe her as, I think she was goth, not to quote. But I'll put bleacher kid in there as well. So
yeah, and I don't say this. I cannot emphasize this enough. I don't say this coming from a place of knowledge, even. But if this is my perception as a person who barely knew her, then I can imagine it's similar for other people. And you don't need to be you don't need to be a great person to get murdered, but to be a good victim that the public cares about, you do have to be a certain way.
Yes, to relate the relatability of the victim, right? Like,
right.
Oh man,
just like you can be a piece of shit and you're not a murderer. You can be a bad mom, and that doesn't mean you killed your kid.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. That's completely right. Yeah, and people forget that.
So I think that it has to be a contributing factor. It has to be.
Yeah, man, that's I think maybe my main goal right now is, even if she was, because if I'm calling out someone else here now, there was a podcast made in September 2023 called the Beauty Kills podcast. That was, I think, that was supposed to be the first. That was the first Shellie Carson ever exclusive podcast.
I didn't know there was a podcast. I thought this was it, baby.
I know. I thought, when you think you're that tycoon, but then there's always someone, right? Tom says, so he didn't really invent that light bulb, okay? He said, let me grab that.
Who's the starry and who's the sprite, though?
Yeah. Right. So
anyway.
Well, time will tell.
September 2023.
2023. There's one episode, I listened to it. This person identifies himself as not part of our graduating class, but a friend of a person who graduated from our school. And they just got kind of involved too, just kind of like really interested about it. Spoke to one of the alleged suspects, felt threatened by this person, but then said, like, hey, I've spoken to Shelley's brother and all this other stuff they've listed that they were going to do, and never posted again. No,
they must be dead.
Well, you'd think that, right? So I talked to one of Shelley's friends, and she said, oh yeah, I know that person. They approached me about doing a podcast, and I said, no, thank you. So I reached out to them, right? I'm like, well, damn, you got the brother's number, girl. Give it to someone who will do something with it, right? No response, ghosted from this person, and the person's still alive, posting periodically about something.
Are they local to Virginia Beach?
Yes. Even in January, they said, hey,
the podcaster?
Episode 2's coming out soon.
So this was a podcast just about Shellie?
Yes, it's called Beauty Kills Podcast. Who killed Shellie Carson? ?
Why is it called
Shellie? Shellie is spelled wrong. I do not know. Maybe they must have saw a Lifetime poster, but let me not insult them because I might still need them.
You can cut all that out, I guess. But
I don't. I mean, I am kind of annoyed by this person.
Do you think that maybe she did an episode and said there isn't enough here to do an entire podcast? Is that possible?
I would say that, but then why in January are you posting a video saying episode 2 is on the way? If you you posted in September.
Have you heard of an empty promise? I'm sure you have. You have kids.
Well, yeah. I mean, my mom, of course. I mean, I lived. I grew up on bologna with the red string on the side.
Yeah. You better eat that butt piece of the loaf of bread.
And that was part 1 of our episode here of Welcome to Wham City. Oh, man, just came up with a title like that. Bam. See, don't overthink things, guys. Don't overthink things, guys. Listen, I'm exhausted, all right? I tried to edit the second part of this podcast while cooking penny olive vodka while watching the kids paint race cars. Didn't work out for me. Uh-oh, here comes one now. I gotta go. Wait for part 2. Bye!